One thing I can remember she used to always tell me was, you ain't gonna be shit like your dad. You ain't gonna be shit like your dad. You're gonna be nothing. You're gonna be nothing. And it never affected me because I never believed her. I knew it was coming from a place of addiction and pain and anger. When I said what I said about Jennifer Hudson on The Breakfast Club, criticizing her talk show, it was hurtful. And although it wasn't intended to be hurtful, it was that hard truth that didn't need to be spoken at that moment. The very people that judge me can't get enough of what I do. And the people that can't get enough of what I do are doing the stuff I'm talking about. I'm just making millions of dollars while you sitting at home broke, mad about it. Being number one is a mentality. It's not a fact, because who can tell you that you're not number one if you move like you're number one, you believe you're number one, and you execute like you're number one. I'm not performing for anybody, because at the end of the day, when this whole journey you've watched is judged, it ain't you I'm trying to get close to, it's God, and that's the only person I have to really talk to at night when I'm right or wrong or indifferent.
The only Jason Lee is in the building. He really can do a masterclass all by himself on dominating social media and speaking to the culture and to the generation. I want to go backwards. I know that you all want to hear about pop culture and hear about everything that is streaming and going on, but I want to talk about his other life as a politician.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. Never would have made it. I never would have thought in a million years that you'd be running the whole city.
Yeah. Well, you know, first of all, when you said the best of both worlds, I'm trying to think of what world I'm coming from. But today,
you in an alternative universe. You in a world all by yourself.
Yeah, I have my foot in different worlds right now. But first of all, I want to say I'm happy to be here in Atlanta. I always get a lot of love. So thank you to everybody that came out, because Atlanta is popping. And I'm so happy to be here with the good pastor, because, you know, I really am somebody who loves God. I have a lot of love for God, with God. I'm connected to God. I love gospel music. But I think most people think that when they see me, they see all the clips that have gone viral, and they have an opinion about me. Shout out to your wife over there who had dinner with us last night. She was like, I don't know who this is or what I'm going to get. But I think as people get to know me, and hopefully today when people get to see more of me, they know there's multiple sides of the Jason Lee that they may not know today.
We went to dinner last night, and I'm still I had no idea you were Kojic.
Yeah.
Never would have thought it.
Listen, I don't want to offend nobody today, but I promise you I'm going to offend somebody today. If you're not rolling around on the floor at church, I don't know what church you go to. I'm going to just keep it 100. Like, I will walk into church, and my friend who's here with me today, we literally walked into church back home, and we walked in and we said, there is no spirit in this church. We turned around and walked out.
Wow.
And I'm not judging you when I walk in your church, but I'm judging you when I get in the car for sure.
Keep it 100 at all times.
All time.
I want you to talk about you going into public space. Did you volunteer for it, or do you feel like you were called to it?
For a public office?
Yes.
Okay, so never in a million years did I think I would run for office, get into politics, but to whom much is given, much is required. And as you get all of the fruit of your labor and you start to get the things that I thought I wanted, jewelry, houses, cars, traveling all over the world, at some point you look up and you be like, yo, you still feel empty. You don't feel like you're living a purpose-driven life. And I had written a book called God Must Have Forgotten About Me, and that was a gift that I gave to my fans, just really outlining all the trials I have been through over my life. And as I've talked to people, talked to kids, saw people sharing their stories about how my book impacted them online, I just started moving towards doing more with my platform. So I launched a nonprofit to help young black and brown kids to really unlock their dreams and pursue those dreams instead of the things that were pursuing them, like alcohol, drugs, music that's driving them to institutions, or, you know, getting them more lost in the world. And I saw the politics and how they were impacting communities. Back home in Stockton, California, I watched how, even though I said I would give the city $1 million if they matched $1 million of my own money, they still didn't want to help. And I said, you know what? If nobody is going to do it, I'll jump in and did it. And just like an overachiever, I got in, got behind 3 other people, and we all won.
Amazing. Come on, give him a big hand for that. I have said in conversation that whatever you say about Trump, you can't say that he's a dumb man. Whatever it is that he's doing, he's plotting it meticulously and making strategic steps. And I think that you have come in under the power of being underestimated. People see you as an explosive figure, but don't know that you really take time to think through what you're going to press the button on.
Yes.
How it is that you're going to make it viral is a science. It is not happening accidentally. I want you to talk about what thought process do you take dealing with social media?
Yeah. You know, social media, people use it for different reasons. Some people use it because you can make millions and millions of dollars from it. I started a company from Instagram with literally $100, living in a studio apartment and wanting to unlock Hollywood. Came up with an idea of Hollywood Unlocked, and now it's valued at $50 million and growing. I do have an exit strategy at some point of at least $500 million or more when I do exit, hopefully in 7 years. But when I built it, I didn't have a manual, I didn't have a mentor, I didn't have really any guidance to do it. I didn't get a degree in anything. I have a GED, I didn't finish college, but I'm a hard worker, I'm passionate, and when I'm focused on anything, I am determined, and I was determined to build this thing. But I saw as social media started growing that people were using it to be destructive, just unintentionally destructive, not any real thought, just putting things out there and following the likes. What I did was, when I built my Instagram account and my platform, I did everything from day one with one follower as if I was talking to 1 million, because it was really about the content and wanting to create sticky content that people could relate to, and then figuring out what stuck. And when I saw it stuck, I just kept throwing it at the wall and just kept going. And then now I've mastered it to the extent that as I've evolved into politics, influence around the world and doing different things that have impact, I now, instead of doing all the messy things I used to do when I want to go viral, I'll just look at the camera on my podcast and say, do your thing, TikTok, and then everybody else who's messy does my dirty work. So thank you to all of you messy people out there doing my dirty work. I appreciate you.
Yeah, and so while you have in small measure built a brand around shock and awe and pushing the envelope, a lot of people don't know the good stuff that you do behind the veil.
But the shock and awe is good stuff too, because let me tell you all, when people judge, this is the thing, you know, a lot of us are just walking around just a bunch of hypocrisy with a heartbeat. I ain't talking about you, but I might be talking about you. Because the very people that judge me can't get enough of what I do. And the people that can't get enough of what I do are doing the stuff I'm talking about. I'm just making millions of dollars while you sitting at home broke, mad about it. And then when I walk in...
Go ahead.
He told me last night to show up and be me, so
I
today,
want you to be
today
all of you.
Some of y'all about to fuck around and find out that it gets real up here. When I hear that people say, I'm messy, why you ain't getting your kids in college? That's messy. Why your husband out cheating with your cousin? That's messy. Why your husband out calling me? That's messy. So when I think of why your husband let me fly him out, that's messy. So when you talk about messy, you're missing the message.
Where them fans at? I just...
Listen.
Yes, I'm talking about the other side.
But my point, here's my point. Sometimes you'll miss the message through the mess. Yeah. The reality is that I have figured out how to master an industry that has sat me at the table with global leaders, that has welcomed me into the White House many times, and that helped me win an election by 15 points of an incumbent who was doing a horrible job. So what I said at my award show last month when I was speaking to the room is that I fly at an altitude where I don't hear the noise that some people hear about me. Because the favor that God gave to me may not be fair for you, but it's working for me. And what I also realize is that the things that I say online that seem hurtful is the hard truth that your friends won't tell you, your family won't tell you, your coworker won't tell you, and your neighbor won't tell you. But I will admit that sometimes my delivery has been so hard that even I look back now and I go, okay, you ain't had to say that, or damn, you didn't have to do that. And we were talking about it last night, and since I see a lot of black women in the room, I do want to acknowledge the moment that I highlighted last night that I've said before, is that, you know, when I said what I said about Jennifer Hudson on The Breakfast Club, criticizing her talk show, it was hurtful, and although it wasn't intended to be hurtful, it was that hard truth that didn't need to be spoken at that moment, because I had forgotten how much I loved her and how much she had endured as a woman who had her family slaughtered, and she is a prime example of excellence in our culture. And what I did was a prime example of how black women get hit with a stray when they don't deserve to be. And I felt bad about that, to where I publicly apologized to her and will continue to do it until I can privately do it, because she deserved that and didn't deserve how I delivered the message that day. So I'm learning and evolving, and I love that people are giving me the space to grow, because I am judged for being imperfect from a bunch of people who are imperfect too.
Wow, that's powerful.
But y'all gonna go to hell for that, because see, you can't judge me and get to heaven. Anyway, that was messy, but it was true.
If a young podcaster says to you, they're watching this, and says, I want to be the next Jason Lee, which variation of that, of you, do you think they're talking about?
Well, I would first say don't be the next Jason Lee, be you, because I didn't grow into Jason Lee being anybody else. I've admired people. I remember when I first launched Hollywood Unlocked and had a few followers, and Floyd Mayweather was telling me he wanted to tell the world that I was the #1 media person. I was just like, I'm not #1, I just started, and I started giving the examples of all these other people who were better than me. And he said, no, I can look at you and tell you're like the Floyd Mayweather of media, but there is no Floyd Mayweather media, so you're gonna be the best at what you do, and being #1 is a mentality, it's not a fact, because who can tell you that you're not #1 if you move like you're #1, you believe you're #1, and you execute like you're #1. So I always tell people, you know, I think you should be the best at what you do. And what I did that was different for the next generation of people who want to create podcasts and stuff is I'm laying out the blueprint. I launched courses called Media Millionaires. You can go to MediaMillionaires.com. It's $47. Everything I learned in the world of building my platform from $0 to 50 million is in there for subscription. I give it away. Why? Because I don't lose anything to help and become a blessing to other people. In fact, I think that's why I'm so blessed. The other thing is, I would say, when you look at all the different versions of me, you know, yes, just the other day I was in a park with congressmen and assemblywomen and supervisors and tons of people from my neighborhood as part of National Night Out. And today I'm on my Instagram telling the media, y'all gonna fuck around and get sued or get your page taken down if you keep trying me. I'm a balance of everything you've ever seen about me, and I'm not performing for anybody, because at the end of the day, when this whole journey you've watched is judged, it ain't you I'm trying to get close to, it's God, and that's the only person I have to really talk to at night when I'm right or wrong or indifferent.
That's beautiful. 33% of Gen Z said their occupational goal is to be a YouTuber. You said that part of your success outside of God and perseverance is being self-educated with the GED. And I said to our church that we've got to rethink, because the church has pushed people to believe your only pathway to success is college. And now we're finding out that you don't have to go to college in order to be a success. I want you to say a word to guidance counselors, the teachers, the parents, who are really frustrated because they don't have a manual on how it is that you're going into this space for a whole generation that is coming forward, when internet is going to pay people more money than movies and music and television combined. And so for those who are in influential positions over young people, what would you say to them?
Okay, I'm going to answer, there's two answers to that. I'm going to first start with the dreamer that may be talking to somebody who's a counselor disguised as a dream killer. You have to be very careful and very intentional about listening to every single syllable of every single word that a person tries to pour into you. I will tell you that people whose dreams have been killed because they didn't believe in them will tell you that yours are unbelievable, and you will believe them if you allow it to happen to you. So that's the first thing. So I don't just, no matter who you are, I've gotten a gem from a homeless person, and I've gotten a gem from the Vice President of the United States. The person is just the messenger. The message you have to pay attention to and understand how that aligns with your core values and what you believe, right? So I'll listen to anybody, and then I'll apply what fits for me. So if you have a dream and you're talking to somebody who tells you that it's unbelievable, it's unreachable, that might be because they had a dream that to them, because they gave up, seemed the same way. To a person in a position of influence or power, or anybody that has a message to somebody that's asking for advice or counsel, be very clear about why you're pouring into that person and where that's coming from. Because when you try to block somebody's blessing, intentional or accidental, your blessings may be blocked as a result of getting in God's way. And think about this. My mother, who struggled her whole life with drug addiction and abandonment issues, and she was molested by my grandfather and a whole bunch of just horrendous things, right? White woman had a kid by a black man who was married to a black woman and chose that and had this kid. And I remember the one thing I can remember she used to always tell me was, you ain't gonna be shit like your dad. You ain't gonna be shit like your dad. You're gonna be nothing, you're gonna be nothing. And it never affected me because I never believed her. I knew it was coming from a place of addiction and pain and anger and probably self-disappointment. And thankfully, she was able to see me become who I am today before she passed along. But again, be very clear about who you're allowing to pour into you, because there are dream killers among us, for sure.
No, it's powerful. I'm grateful for it. You have sat at strategic tables trying to give a direction to those who are in political life on how to tap into black culture and to move the needle. We're moving towards a midterm election that could shift everything in Washington, from the House to the Senate. And to this day, I've heard no strategy from any organization, from the Democratic convention, on a blank canvas, knowing that we've got 6 months out, 8 months out. What would you strategize to the black community on what we need to do moving towards midterm elections?
Yeah, I think we need to continue to focus on what is our priorities. I think, one, there's no national conversation about what our priorities are until something bad happens. Shooting happens, unarmed black man, oh, we're going to march, and then we go away. It's almost like the movement stops after the mainstream media stops talking about our issues. The second thing is, I think we're always waiting for one leader to tell us what to do, when each of us need to be individual leaders that bind together to lead us in that direction. And then the third thing is that, like, people like me who didn't want to get into politics and every day go, oh my God, I'm in it. You know, sometimes some of us have to take that sacrifice and put our name out there and really step out to lead, because if not us, who? But I will say, I was just talking to my friend up on the way over here, and they said, oh, well, BET, hip-hop, and the Soul Train Awards are gone away. They're stripping everything. DEI, BET, hip-hop awards, now Soul Train Awards. Before you know it, they took not Trump. See, I'm so sick of hearing that name, I swear to God. They would have never let they would have put nooses at the White House had Barack Obama done anything. If Barack Obama would have sold Cadillacs on the White House lawn, he would have been impeached and imprisoned. But we have to be outraged as people who were snatched from our country and built this country and haven't been given our reparations and told to go home when this is our home, to take control and make this the America that we wanted to be, and stop waiting for them to tell us that we have a seat at a table that we probably built. Yeah, I'm concerned, because you look at what's happening to Jasmine Crockett. Her and I were talking about how the redistricting in Texas. Now California's starting to talk about moving maps around. I mean, things are literally shuffling on this chessboard that impact all of us. And so you have to ask yourself, what is going to be your why? If you have children, their education, their health care, their future at risk. If you're a woman, why are we talking about your uterus when we aren't going to talk about our testicles? You should be upset about that. And if you believe that DEI is just for us, it's for everybody to say that we have a fair seat at the table. So we should be fighting for that. But instead, I think sometimes it's hands on your knees, hands on your knees. See what Sexy Red is talking about and TikToking our life away. And if we can just post some old liquor, good luck with that, because they're doing it to the Latinos now. They've been doing it to women. Now the Latinos, we're next. And I'm praying that we get it right.
84% of Republicans, 90% of Democrats said that they demand to see the Epstein list. Is Epstein going to be the Watergate scandal that brings down Trump?
Well, first of all, okay, I'm going to say this, and I know some people may not like it, but it's probably a lot of Catholics on that list too. And the Catholic Church for years has been embedded in this scandal, and white folks have sat around and still did Ash Wednesday and didn't care. The Santa, look, burn the candles. I'm not making fun of nobody's religion. I'm just saying I was born and raised Catholic until I went to a foster home and people was rolling around on the floor, and then they put the oil on me and I became Kojic. I remember when I was in church and I didn't shout, I thought I had a demon in me. I'm like, why is everybody else shouting but me? But anyway, it wasn't me. It was these people. Okay. What is going to be the scandal? People climbed up the Capitol and tried to kill Congress. We let them out. What is the bar now? I don't know what the bar, I don't even know what country this is anymore, to be honest with you. The man said, grab him by the blank. He won 2 terms. The man said he supported everything in the Project 2025 propaganda, and a black woman told y'all he was planning to do it, and y'all said she wasn't qualified, and he got in there and he's doing it. The Cubans and the Latinos for Trump were cha-cha-chaing all the way to the voter booth, and now he put them in cages and sending them wherever they want, wherever he wants. And it's still okay. We ain't burnt the country down yet. Barack Obama, we had to have that man go dig his birth certificate out of some hole to prove he was an American. The standard, the double standard, has been right in front of us the whole time. Now, Epstein files. Okay, he's in there. Is America going to be mad? I don't know. We still have states in this country where you can sleep with a 15-year-old and we ain't mad. This is America.
As a distraction to it, in the middle of the Epstein crisis, he said, unprompted, that he may just pull Diddy out of jail. That's what he said.
Okay, let me say this real quick. Have they treated Trump the same way they treated Diddy? No. Diddy lost everything, including his freedom. His children lost their peace. And I'm not protecting Diddy. I don't even use baby oil. I don't got no dildos at my house. Okay. Okay, wait. Funny story. Hold on.
Make sure the story is funny.
No, hey, wait.
Make sure, were you there?
No. Look.
Okay.
Hold on. Listen. True story, right? So on my podcast, the Jason Lee podcast, I was doing a story about Diddy. This was the early days when the whole Diddy thing went down, right? So I tell my sister, I'm like, yo, go buy like 6 bottles of baby oil for the story because I'm about to do this thing and I'm about to have the baby oil or whatever because I know how to go viral. So I tell the story, I do my thing. I throw all the baby oil away afterwards because I don't even use baby oil anyway. But I take one of them home because I'm going to do something for TikTok. So I take the baby oil home. I stick it on the counter. My friend flies in from London, and he walks in the kitchen to ask me something. And I remember he looked down and saw the bottle, and then he looked at me. I said, nigga, if you ask me anything about baby oil. But anyway, I don't use that.
The views expressed on this show today.
And they know exactly who they booked to come to the A. So, hello. No, but what I will say is that take a step out of the entertainment of it for a minute, for real. They said he did something. They said Emmett Till did something. I'm not saying Diddy is Emmett Till. What I'm saying is black people, it's so easy to throw something on us and the media, the ecosystem of mainstream will say you did it. And by the time telephone has been had, everybody believe you did it.
Bad news goes around the world twice before good news can put on shoes. why do you think we can't change the narrative for good news to go viral?
You know, that is really interesting. I always wonder, is it the algorithm? Is it our appetite to watch the train wreck but not want to be on the train? Is it the fact that all of us feel hostage to a life that we're really secretly living because we have our mess we don't want to show? Because we live in fear of being judged, attacked, or losing everything? When I ran for office, I love the fact that I put it all out there. Anything they could say about me, anybody I slept with, didn't sleep with, rumored to sleep with, whatever they say I did, whatever. It was all out there. You can Google it, go to YouTube, it's whatever, right? I think Trump changed the landscape of how you can run for office, how you should talk to people when you're running for office, which is why I think the Democrats are losing right now, because they're still playing by the old playbook, and he's changed the playbook. But I think that there's so many more people than fewer that I've encountered, people that you wouldn't even imagine, who are like, man, I love when you said this. I love when you did that. I've been watching your career from loving hip-hop through this, da-da-da-da, because people like that as entertainment, because they are slave to a life that will never let them do it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that I'll go to church, and I'll walk into church, and I'm literally there just to get the word. I just want to walk in and hear what the pastor's saying and hear some good music. And it's like, what's Krishan doing? What's Krishan doing? When Blueface getting out? I don't write Blueface in prison. I don't know. Did you see what Shamar did? I ain't gonna say nothing. See? Walking all crooked. Y'all a mess.
We said we weren't going to talk about Shamar today. You was giving him a pass. You were giving him a pass today.
I'm talking about walking crooked in life. Y'all talking about something else.
No.
So my point is, stop judging me. See all that judgment y'all got out there? No, the reality is I think that when I ran for office, there were a lot of people that were inspired, that were sharing my journey, sharing my story. A lot of people out there cheering me on. A lot of people that loved and believed what I was doing. But what I just said, and the reason why I said it, is that'll be the clip that'll go viral. Because that's what people want to talk about. Instead of talking about our freedoms and talking about protecting our free speech rights, or again, women's right to choose, or the amount of kids out there that need to find a home, or whether or not SNAP is something that should be removed from our ability to feed our families in different communities, or Medicaid going on. I mean, there's so many bigger important things right now going on that we're not talking about, because that is not the thing that people want to talk about. Why? I have no clue. I have no clue.
But as an influencer, the millions of dollars that you poured into your city, just around mental health alone, and your Be Well project.
How you know about that? Oh,
yes.
You did your research.
Yes. You've done a lot for mental health, and I think that we underestimate and undervalue the word influencer. And an influencer should not just be an enhancer. But because you're an influencer, you have the authority and you have the power to shift the narrative and change the perspective, especially now as an elected official, that I think that people want to hear it, they just don't know where to find it. So you can find a whole lot more bad news than you can good. And I'm saying pepper some in there.
Well,
it'd be good for the morale. It'd be good for our mental health.
Well, think about this, right? I think that we live in a clip-based world where we will see a clip of an individual, and that's who they are. And if that clip entertains the appetite we have for that type of content, we keep going to see that. When we don't like something we see that first time, we write them off and don't go back. So the movie is being televised. You choosing to watch what you want to watch. I have an award show called the Hollywood Unlocked Impact Awards. We've honored everybody from Whoopi Goldberg to Christian Louboutin to Babyface to just all the Cardi B, Sharon Stone. The people that go to that, look to that, watch that, they see that. But I don't believe that I need to be, I'm a monolith. We're all monolith. I don't believe I have to be the one thing for you to want to come and see me. You're going to see my mess. You're going to see my message. You're going to see my creations. You're going to see all those things. And if you want to see the $132 million I helped my county get for mental health, you'll go see that too. It is out there. But I think vice mayor, they calling me mayor is why everybody at home is jealous and scared of me right now. But yeah, I did help them get the $132 million, the biggest grant we ever got in the county. But I did that just by connecting like-minded people that believed in mental health.
Yeah. Yeah, I want us to really challenge ourselves, as particularly those of you who are podcasters are moving in that space, to make sure our people got enough stress, worry, anxiety, apprehension, insomnia, that we are flooded from morning, noon, and night with bad news. But let's take one song from the Wiz soundtrack. Don't nobody bring me no bad news. That we would just have one day a week that we can just post something good and positive to elevate our people and to push them to the next level. And I think it's really going to make a difference for how we treat each other and how it is that we move forward. I want to really speak to, because we are watching history happen in real time. And one of the overarching fears is, what will be the impact of AI? So many jobs, 300,000 black women have lost jobs just from April. What will AI mean for our community?
I mean, AI is transforming the world. Before I got here, I had breakfast with a friend of mine in Atlanta, and he said, one thing about you, you have the best memory. And I remember back in the day, you would be able to say this and this and this. Me, I have the worst memory. I just use AI. It's replacing our ability to do critical thinking, to do research, and to truly, and I'm talking about ChatGPT for now. I'm not talking about everything else creating, I mean, just graphics.
Right.
It's changing, revolutionarily changing the world. I think that we still need people, and especially if you're in the people business, ChatGPT can't give you the pulse of culture. It can't give you the pulse of what the world is doing or how the world is moving. But I think the scary part about it is that those of us who are relying solely on it are going to miss the heartbeat of the world that does keep us connected. And I know in my own company, a lot of my writers, I was talking to them about, being able to write stories faster and get more content out, And they were like, oh, we need more people. Once we implemented some AI tools, the conversation now is we got to find other things for people to do because we don't need as many people now.
Yeah.
So I haven't reduced any of my staff, and I've committed to not doing that, but that isn't the trend, as you say,
Speaking of bad news, and this is not positive, uplifting, or affirming, if you would have Candace Owens on your podcast.
I have.
Huh?
I have.
Say it again?
I interviewed her.
No. Wait for it.
Okay.
Relative to this lawsuit with the French president.
Okay.
You talked to her since that?
I talked to her before that.
Oh, yes. So, yes, if you were to have her now, while she is now being sued, what advice would you give? Would you tell her just walk away? If you got a whole government coming after you, this is at a whole nother level where you got to raise your security at a whole nother place. As somebody who is in that space, what would you advise and coach her to do?
See, again, with Candace, so let me first start by saying that before I interviewed Candace, everybody was saying, don't interview her, don't give her a platform. She has a platform. We know who she is. She has a platform. When you have a platform, you have to be able to bring on a donkey to show them where the shit's at, sometimes, okay? Now, I brought her on because as a black, gay man, I have an issue with her points of view on gay people because I love all people. I don't care who you are. I don't want to go to hell because somebody or something told me I had to hate a person or a group for whatever reason. I just don't want to. But some of y'all faith will let y'all do that. That's why you're going to go to hell. Anyway, so with Candace, take it up with your pastor. Not this one.
Thank you.
Or this one. Anyway. So with Candace, I knew when I interviewed her that I was going to lose on the trans issue because she knows how to gaslight women who are tired of defending, cis women, who are tired of defending being women. So she's smart about how to leverage platforms to say stupid shit. But when you say that the French president's wife it was originally born male and you don't have a picture of the penis, You got to prove that. And now, I don't know how you're going to prove that. Now you're in trouble. That's how a podcaster lost a major lawsuit with Cardi B. So again, to whom much is given, when you have the influence, much is required. You got to be responsible. If you go to my Instagram right now, the only Jason Lee, I just told everybody in media the steps 1 through 6 of what I'm going to do to take their money, take their platform, take their career, if they F around and find out playing with me, because there are rules and guidelines on how we report. I think that Candace, on one hand, that was crazy. On the other hand, she might get a lot of money because now everybody's going to go to the Candace Owens podcast. Her numbers are going to go up. All of us are talking about her. And that is the world we live in, where there are some wins and some losses. There may be a company that gives her a show for $100 million when she pays out the $10 million lawsuit as a result of saying something, but she kept 90.
Well,
it's really crazy.
it's crazier still that 2 days ago, the French president's wife's doctor was found dead.
Okay, we need to stop talking because I got to get on a flight to New York right now.
For more information, please like, follow, and subscribe to the Jamal Bryant Podcast. Let's be clear, we'll be back next week without Jason Lee. Make sure that you're a part of it.
Wait. And I told you I'm sober. I'm going to treat this show like AA, and I'm going to keep coming back because it works. I want to come back.
Run that thing back. Thank y'all. Next time we do this podcast, it's going to be called Roll Out. We're not going to tell you why, but we're going to do our own special podcast live from California. I thought you agreed to this.
Nah, he was telling me last night I should have brought Roland Ray with me to the interview. He is this man. Let me tell you.
Goodbye. The credits are rolling right now. The credits are rolling. Like, follow, subscribe, and share to the Jamal Bryant Podcast. Let's be clear, without Jason Lee. Thank you so very much. We'll see you all next time. Thank you.